Welcome to The Hidden Story, a space for the conversations we don't usually have out loud. I'm your host, Dr. Vasilia Binnenstock, and here we're going to explore real stories of resilience and the moments that shape us. Every life has a hidden story. Let's tell the stories that change everything. Hello, welcome to The Hidden Story with Dr. Vasilia Binnenstock. I'm so excited to welcome you today. Before we get started, just make sure that you are following me. Go over to my Instagram, Dr. Vasilia, that's dr.vasilia, where you can find my Substack, my journals for purchase on Amazon, and other really great resources, plus all of the other episodes of this podcast. Today, we're going to be talking with Jonathan Musick, and then we're going to be doing a few kind of user submitted questions after that I will answer. But first, let's get right into it. Jonathan, I'm so glad to welcome you here today. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I understand that you've been on a weight loss journey and that you've just been through a lot and trying to put some things back together and kind of find, some of your more purpose moving forward. But maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got here.
Yeah, I you know, I was very into fitness. I was a very big guy and I've always wanted to be a boxer. I've always wanted to be like a personal trainer, and I noticed my life was going the wrong way, and I started to lose weight with a nutritional company, and started to fall in love with that nutritional company and the passion of like entrepreneurship with that. And so I lost 105 pounds. I got
Wow.
to I was very fit, was doing a lot more than I could do.
Mm,
And I was feeling good. I was 250 pounds. My highest at that current time was 405.
mhm.
Um, and so to get down to 250 and to compete in boxing, to be a personal trainer and help people achieve their goals was a goal of my own. Like I've always wanted to do that, right? So,
Mhm.
um, and then I with this entrepreneurship, with this it's a multi-leveling marketing plan, right?
Mhm.
And so, um, how hard you work is what you get out of it. And so I was working really hard for a goal of mine to retire my father
Mhm.
when he was already out of work and he was in struggling. So I was like, you know what? I really want to work really hard to give him what he's given me, and just the sacrifice. And like, I was working, not only was I doing the nutritional job, I was working as a personal trainer at Title Boxing Club. I was working overnight at Walmart as
Wow.
a produce person, and then doing personal trainings plus leading um, 3 fitness camps at in my local town. I mean, there'd be days where I wasn't sleeping for 2 days, and I would take a 4 hour nap and redo it all over again.
Wow.
And then he got very ill. He had a congested heart failure, went into a coma state.
Oh.
I had to be the person to tell the doctor to pull life support. Um, and so I kind of lost my like mojo, my why, my passion. Not my passion, but my flame that like just
Mhm.
took me off, because I'm in the multi marketing levels. I was leaping people,
Yeah.
um, and so I just kind of fell off slowly. I still was helping people lose weight, and I was gaining weight a little bit here and there, but I was still, being the personal trainer that I was, and I always wanted to be and stuff. And
Mhm.
roughly, close to 2 years later, my brother, um, I didn't know my brother was hurting as much as I was, but
Oh.
he overdosed on some drugs, and of course, but he didn't know what he was taking.
Mhm.
And so, kind of in the same situation where there wasn't enough oxygen to his brain. I had to tell my mother. We didn't want to tell the doctors at full. I had to be the man and tell them what they had to do. And so then it was just me and my mother. And then I just noticed I've like sacrificed a lot of time and effort, and I wanted to give my mom, her flowers as well, like her time, like give her. She sacrificed a lot. Um, so I mean, she was already living with me, and so I was already being like I wouldn't say like a like caregiver or anything, but she was totally fine. She was just on disability,
Mhm.
so she wasn't making a lot. So I was paying for the rent and the car payments and all that stuff. And so there was part of me that was like, all right, I'm gonna keep on working, keep on doing this, give her time and what she needs to do and stuff like that. And but at the same time, like I want to go find my own passions and stuff like that. And so I was at a heavier weight. I gained pretty much all my weight plus more back, and I
Mhm.
said, I can't do that. And so at this current time, so I started the J Hub channel, and the J Hub channel has been my accountability partner to make sure I'm working out. I post videos, and of course, COVID hit.
Mhm.
Good old COVID,
I know.
ruined that plan altogether
Mhm.
because I was planning on traveling and doing all this other stuff, and taking her with me, and take my mother with me. And
Mhm.
so once COVID came around, I had an opportunity to go to Costa Rica, and so I gave my boxing coach, 2 months worth of rent, and I was like, "Hey, I got 2 months. I need to get fit because there's some things I want to do, and I am too heavy to get on it."
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, so um, and then I just posted my first like boxing video of me just hitting a heavy bag, and it went when I went, it went viral. It went crazy viral because when I posted it, within I think the first couple hours, it was already over like 200,000 views, and
Whoa.
then it went to I think right now it's like sitting at 7 million or whatever
Mhm.
views. But that's not including that's in Instagram. With TikTok, it's like at like 5, and um
Mm.
on different social media sites, it's a whole bunch more. But
Yeah.
um as that was going off, my mother's lung collapsed, and so we had to take her to the hospital. She couldn't breathe. She just like
Yeah.
collapsed, and took her to the hospital. Come to find out, she had fluid building up around her lungs
Mhm.
from lung cancer,
Oh
and so
god.
was with her as I'm as my phone I literally had to turn off my notifications off of Instagram because it was just blowing up so much. And I was getting messages from other content creators, other like celebrities, and like, "Hey, I saw your video. Would love to work with you. Love to fly you out." Yada, yada, yada. I was like, "Wish I could, but I'm here with my mom."
Right.
So, um, so I had to pass up some opportunities to be with her, and then uh, um, after roughly it was roughly a year, a little bit over a year. Um, her cancer started spreading.
Mm.
I guess when you have lung cancer, it has a very good possibility to go to the brain.
Yeah.
And I noticed, uh, starting like late July into August, that there was a difference in my mother. And then come February of 2023, um, we kind of just made the decision to do hospice.
Mhm.
And with hospice, at home, not at the hospital, at home, like the nurse doesn't stay there. You know what I'm saying? They're there for about 30 minutes, 3 to
Yeah.
4 times a week. and
Oh,
and so they're just there to make sure everything's you got your medicine, you got everything's
comfortable
working
and
comfortable and everything. Yep. And
mhm.
so I had to kind of take care of my mother to that point where she couldn't take care of herself. And it's taken me some time to rebound from that because
Of
that was
course.
just a whole experience itself. But I'm still happy. I'm still positive. I
Mhm.
still talk to God,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's just where we're at right now.
It's just it's been so much, and yeah, it seems like every time you were getting your head above water, like something else would hit. And I think that's like one of the hardest things is like not being able, you're just recovering from one thing and then something else happens. And it sounds a lot like your family um gave you so much purpose and meaning, like you were saying, like, that you could pull through and work those long hours and do it all because you knew you were doing it for them too. Um, and now that you don't have that, that's kind of where you're feeling like that lack of purpose coming from.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't say I would say yes and no. Like,
Okay.
'cause I saw a lot of purpose because people wanna like, friends and stuff like that wanna see me,
Mhm.
um, succeed and, but at the same time, um, my dad did a lot for me. My
Mhm.
mother did a lot for me, and they were, like, really strong whys, really strong reasons to push really, really hard, and I'm still
Mhm.
pushing really, really hard, um, but it was just a difference of intensity,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, I understand that. And it seems like you have a really engaged like following online and they really root for you. And like you said, that accountability piece. Like how do you think that your audience has helped you get through all these things?
They're my cheerleaders, a lot of them are there to root me on. There's some that, are haters, but it's whatever. But
Everyone has. Yeah.
everybody got them right.
Mhm.
But majority of them are rooting me on and wanting me to succeed. They want to see, you know, the real JJ, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So and that's my nickname,
Yeah.
everybody. J. So they've helped out a lot.
Yeah. You say like the real JJ, you feel like you come through authentically. Is that something that's really important to you?
Yeah, because I think that's the most important thing is being authentic to everybody. I mean, I'm not on there like faking it. Like I'm not like there's some people will be like, "Oh, you're only in there for like 10 seconds to make a little video clip." It's like, why would I do that? I don't
Yeah.
Instagram doesn't pay me.
I
Like
know.
I'd be wasting my time.
Everyone thinks that you get all your videos are making millions of dollars and like they don't understand what is actually going on Instagram and that that's not happening.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. I know. I know. Um so tell me a little more about your like fitness journey now.
So right now, I'm readjusting my fitness journey. I just lost 32 pounds
Mhm.
and within 4 weeks, and um that was amazing. Right now I'm kind of at like a standstill
Mhm.
where I'm still pushing, I'm still eating healthy, I'm not eating healthy, I'm kind of, teeter-totting. It's the reason why is that because I have a couple opportunities and it's just kind of they're up in the air if
Mhm.
they're gonna happen, if they're not gonna happen. And like for example, I don't know much details, but I got asked to get on to like a reality show
Mhm.
or like weight loss. I don't
Yeah.
know, and not really sure what that all entails. And they said, first they said, they would get back with me within about a week. Now apparently the meeting's been pushed back for a couple more weeks. So it's just
Mhm.
like,
Not sure.
okay, not sure. And I mean, I'm not gonna just keep on holding off or anything. I didn't mean to hold off. I just was like, well, I don't want to like push myself if I'm gonna be transitioning everything into a different state, and you know what I'm saying.
I
And
see. Yeah.
and so and then I got talked to about I think this is where I'm just gonna lean into more to is be fighting on Misfits.
Mhm.
One of my friends that like wraps hands and stuff like that, he has like a managing company, and he's like, "We're thinking about like signing you and stuff like that." And we're talking about you getting on Misfits and brand risk and so and so forth. And so I was like, "Okay, cool. That'd be amazing."
Mhm.
Um, so I'm just kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, it's hard, like, sometimes a lot of opportunities come in at once, and they're not all, like, fleshed out yet and trying to figure out what to do and that but there's always that, like, uncertain period, like, before things kinda clear up and you realize what direction you're going in, It's so common to have that.
It's just it's kind of rough because I don't have any like cushion behind me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like it's not if I can't be like, oh, if I make a mistake, like, 'cause I have made a mistake where like, I was almost homeless because there's one company's like, hey, we're gonna take care of you. You do
Mhm.
this, you're gonna be taken care of. I followed it. I quit my job. Like I did everything that they wanted me to, and um, they didn't follow through their
Mhm.
part, and so Um, thank God my boxing coach was there to help me out for a
Yeah,
little bit. But he has his own family, and I can't keep on asking friends like, "Hey, can I borrow $40 here, $50 there?" Right?
sure.
And
Yeah.
so, um, and so that kind of put like a little scare on me as well as like, okay, well, if I make a decision, like
Right. Like you have to
the
be able
duck,
to trust. Yeah.
yeah, and the ducks have to be all in the row.
Yeah, you have to be able to trust, like, and there are so many companies that grow really fast and then they burn out really fast. And like, so being able to tell that they actually have the capacity to do what they say they're going to do for you. And then, they're talking to people like that don't have a good lawyer to look over these contracts and hold them accountable, which is really what needs to happen, and maybe you're speaking to something a little bigger, like in the creator community of like how many creators are just regular people who are getting these offers and contracts and there's not substance behind it or the company goes out of business or it's not a good contract and there's no way for them to know. They don't have the resources to hire an attorney and make sure that that's a good deal for them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree to that. I think also though too is I think platforms should be paying creators no matter. I mean, like if you after if you're making if you're getting enough views,
Yeah.
because I mean, I post, I think not last month, but like prior months, I've maybe posted like 4 times in a month. I still was like getting over 1 million views off of my videos.
Mhm.
In my perspective, I should be compensated for that.
Agreed. Yeah, you're
So
you're the one bringing the viewers onto the app, just like a lot of other creators. Yeah, and I know that Meta has the monetization, but it doesn't really. TikTok pays pennies on a dollar. People don't realize. They think you're just
it's
rich.
I think it's like what after 5 or 6 views, you get like 8 penny.
Yeah,
It's like, come
yeah,
on now.
I know, and I think just like regular people don't realize that. But yeah, it's like, if it was television, it's the talent bringing the people to watch the network. It's the same thing here. You're the talent essentially bringing the people on. So yeah, I completely agree with that and with creators being compensated like that for sure.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so you were talking earlier about like these hard decisions that you had to make with your family or not knowing stuff about like what your brother was going through, like the extent of it. Um, how did you cope with having to make those decisions? I mean, that is so much for one person to not only have to lose a family member, but to make those medical decisions for somebody.
And it's hard to like answer because to you just kind of get numb to it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, and then it's not really. I I just went to work. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm,
it happened, and I was like, I got to get my mind off of this, and I just went back to work and picked up overtime.
mhm.
Probably not the healthiest thing. You know what I'm saying? And
I don't know. Maybe at that time it's what you needed.
maybe I know that like I took at least a couple days off to I guess process everything, but still at the same time it was still so much because definitely after my brother passed, it was
Mhm.
like it's me and my mom, and then I'm like she's next. You know what I'm saying?
Ugh,
Like
yeah.
and so that's the preparation of like up until that time frame from 2000 um 18 19 2000, yeah, right there in that cusp. And then her passing away in 2023, I me mentally just preparing for the next 5 4 years of just like I wasn't I didn't want it to happen, of course,
Of
but it's
course.
like and just but I'm like once she I mean it's going to happen. I'm going to be the last of the music. So what am
Mhm.
I doing? And so I think those kind of like little conversations is why like I went back to work. It's like I didn't have to think about that. So
Absolutely. I mean, and there's a time and a place for all those kind of coping skills. I mean, what you're talking about is like compartmentalizing, where you put things, it's hard to face them, put them away, and we do feel kind of numb to them and just keep going and kind of try to focus on something else. And there is a time and a place for that because sometimes, like, you have to just get through that period before everything can hit you. If it all hits you at once, then you wouldn't be able to be there for your mom. You wouldn't be able to do these things for yourself either. So, um, it's just a coping mechanism. It sounds like that's, what got you through it, for better or for worse.
Yeah, that and I hate to say this,
Mhm.
uh, food got me through it too. That's why I gained even more weight too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that's how it is for a lot of people, where it's some kind of substance that, it is comforting and it helps in that moment, and but then of course like things catch up to us sometimes, but it's not something to judge. Like it's something that just makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that story is really inspiring because I think there are a lot of people who have coped in those ways, and they feel guilty about it and they don't have to.
and I think that's like as you like asked me before, like how like my fathers have helped me is
Hmm.
um I've gotten a lot of messages where they're like, because of you, dude, like I'm back to boxing. Because of you, I'm starting to lose weight again because of,
Yeah.
these little things. And I think those messages too like help me like I'm actually making an impact, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, how does it feel to see some of those messages come in?
oh, I mean, it just cheers me up. It puts a big smile on my face,
Hmm.
and it's like I just helped someone else, right there. Like, hey, literally, it was just the other day I was on live and I was talking about my story and stuff like that, and I got off live and then I got, I was checking my messages and then checked in my hidden messages. It's like, hey man, I just saw you on live. I just want to let you know, like, I love your boxing story. I love, I love you in general, and
Hmm.
because of you, I'm getting back in the ring. I'm gonna start practicing tomorrow and yada yada yada. So it's like it just puts a big smile on my face that I'm able to at least ignite people's passions to better
Yeah.
health and like better themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they see you show up just raw and say like this is your story and you were at all different points in that journey being really fit, and then using food to cope and not being where you want to be and then um getting back to where you want to be, that people see like that is normal, that we're not always at this certain standard. I think you see a lot of like fitness influencers that are like this image of perfection. I only eat this, I never slip, and it's like it's something that most people can't do, and I'm sure some of those influencers aren't even doing themselves. And it's discouraging, but when you see a real person that's like, "Hey, I've been up, I've been down, I'm back up," and they understand that like these kinds of ups and downs, and like you said, kind of um, gaining momentum and then plateauing, that these things are just like a normal part of life, and that's how like normal, regular people can meet their goals.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you with some of these influencers that are like that, they don't even follow some of the stuff they're doing.
Hmm.
And it's just the secret sauce and stuff like that. It's like, no,
Yes.
bro. And there are a few, but I like is that there's more content creators that are in that fitness realm that are like, no, like you can. I indulge in, you know
Yeah.
in this and that. I just take accountability of like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, then understand that it's going to affect my macros or whatever plan it is, right? And like
Sure.
you take that little nick, and okay, tomorrow we just back on the game plan, kind of idea. And I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, and so I'm really happy that there are more creators that are being more realistic. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Realistic, like for real life. Yeah, because I follow some, fitness and health creators as well. And, I've had some goals for my own health, things like that. And, they're the ones that are like, yeah, you've counted your macros all week, but that one guacamole you had on Saturday ruined your whole week. There are those people. And then there are the ones that are like, hey, I've got my fun foods. It's not that big a deal. It's not, think about in the realm of a whole year. how many times he ate foods that are, like, not good, whatever. How much is that really affecting anything? You have to, like, be happy and live your life.
Right. No, 100%.
Yeah. So tell me a little more about your brother. What was going on with him that you said he was just in a lot more pain than you realized?
Um, so, um, my brother my brother he was an older brother,
Mhm.
and so he was the firstborn, and my brother and my dad had this just special connection,
Mm.
um, you know, um, I think all firstborn sons and fathers have that kinda,
Mhm.
and I didn't know that just deep down he was, like, hurting because
Oh.
my brother was, how should I say, wasn't he wasn't with religious. He was more of a realist, he was more of like, "Oh, well, that's what it is," you know what I'm saying? Like, it
Mhm.
just that's it, and so, um, of course, I mean, he had to be, sad about, my dad, but
Yeah.
I honestly thought he got over it faster than I did,
Oh.
and
Mhm.
so, um, he, um so he apparently, based off what his roommate was telling me, is that, like, he got to a point where, he was partying a lot more and heavier,
Mhm.
um, after my dad, and, my brother was very smart. He's the person that could look at something and be like and figure the way, um, around it, you know what I'm saying? So, just for example, not to, like, gloat about this or nothing, but
Yeah.
it's ingenious. I don't know how he made it work, but apparently he found a way where, um, so he took a whole bunch of loans out, right?
Mhm.
But he took a whole bunch of loans out in a different state, and for some reason, if you get a loan from a different state, legally you don't have to pay it back.
Oh,
And so,
this is
not
news.
so, um, but I mean that's what like he would find in between the lines, like and he would be able to make those things kind of work.
Mhm. He was
And
resourceful. Yeah.
very, very. And I mean, I always thought he would be the one that would have like a multi-million dollar like business industry. He was just brilliant.
Mhm.
And so, um, but apparently he's just going out and he would do a lot of like rock star concoctions, a lot of
Oh, no. Yeah, yeah,
alcohol,
yeah.
a lot of up and downers,
Mhm.
um, and so he took what they call well, how it was explained to me by the doctor. He took it's called a Mexico pill, and because it's from the cartel, and pretty much it's a um they say it's like a 15 milligram like Percocet or something to that
Mhm.
sort, but it's actually like fentanyl,
Yeah.
and so apparently it was enough fentanyl to put down an elephant,
Mm.
and so they were surprised that he was even the brain function that he even had was even there from. So, um, anyways, apparently that was he just took the wrong thing, and
Yeah, it's
yeah,
tragic. And, that's what's so dangerous these days is like that fentanyl's in everything. You can't get around
crazy.
it. And so many people think they're taking something like a real prescription. And it's not, it's fentanyl. It's all laced with fentanyl now. It takes so little to kill someone. And then it takes away that chance for people because so many people do get sober. They do get past those hard periods. They do have a good life. And you see it around this country every day that fentanyl like takes away that chance.
And it sucks. It sucks because it's like, why? Like,
Mhm.
why would you even like make a pill that would just like, oh, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
kill, kill my buyers,
Why are you
and he
distributing?
say like
Right.
that, yeah, like I don't know.
It is an interesting question, right? Because you would think that they want to keep selling to people. Yeah. Why are you making something that potent? And I don't know the answers to that, but it's just like an epidemic across this country now.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into that because it's like becomes real political and stuff like that for
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think there's a lot of people who know how to solve that problem right now, who've been in a war against drugs for a long time and not really winning, but I personally think it's like purpose in life and access to mental health care that, is something we can do to at least prevent some of those things. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that.
yeah, no,
Yeah. So for you, what is it that has kept you being more positive, kept you on this path of purposefulness despite everything?
um, so I would say I'm still like wanting to follow my like passions and stuff like that. I want to find my passions and and of course I talk to God and getting close to him and but something that like just motivates me is like I want to go skydiving. I want to
Hmm.
go bungee jumping. I've gone ghost hunting and that was interesting and then I want to do it again. I've done it multiple times actually, but
Really?
yeah, and, but, other stuff too, like, I've traveled, I've had the opportunity to go to Egypt, and
Wow.
Cancun, and I wanna see more places like that. I want
Hmm.
to experiences different cultures and, um, different just I wanna see the world,
Hmm.
and, just at my current weight, it's not possible, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's not possible, but it's very, very hard,
It's a lot
and
harder. Yeah.
yeah. And not only that too, like I had plans for next year. This probably won't happen next year. Probably happen the year after or the year after that.
Hmm.
To ride a bike across America. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
God. That is so cool. You say,
So,
yeah, they're just, you want to experience life. Like, you don't want to deny yourself those chances. There's things you want to do and see and feel.
well,
And yeah.
especially seeing how my brothers passed away, my mother and father, like
Hmm.
they they were able to travel a little bit, but they didn't get to like travel and you know I I don't know. I just want to live my life before
Hmm.
it's my time. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
Yeah. I mean, and because none of us knows when that is, right? And yeah, you want to be able to do those things. I think that's amazing. I think that's a really great reason for doing this stuff, for yourself, because you also deserve it and deserve to be able to have those really cool experiences. I feel like people are along on that journey with you.
I and I want to take them with me. I
Yeah.
want to be like, hey, and so right now the J Hub channel is like about weight loss and boxing and stuff like that. But when I made it, it was the purpose of losing weight to do these things.
Mhm.
And so I can't wait to be able to. And every once in a while, whenever I get to travel, I get to show them like, hey, I went to New York because I did this commercial, or hey, I went to California because my friend's having a wedding or whatever it is. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like and or when I went to Egypt, I got to show, all of, like what I'm doing in Egypt and seeing the pyramids and
So cool.
riding the
Oh
camels
my
and
god,
stuff
I wanna do
like
that.
it's a lot of fun. But I want to take people with me and it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working for. And I think that alone is like an encouragement to other people because I have because of what I have done. I have people that I like personally know, like like locally with the school with, and they're like, man, because you like I like I want to go to uh I'm gonna go to Colorado. I've never been to Colorado.
Mm.
I haven't left the state. I haven't left. Kansas at all. And
Mhm.
like, really? It's like, yeah, because I'm going to Colorado, and then I think next month I'm going to Utah. I was like, oh man, that's what's up. Like, and then other people too, like, like, because you went to Egypt, I want to go. I'm planning to go to
I know,
Egypt.
right? Yeah, now I wanna go.
Exactly. So,
Mhm.
um, and that was something that too was a good should say, like, kept me motivated and keeps me happy. Is so I do watch a YouTube channel called TFIL,
Mhm.
and they pretty much just travel around the world, and do those kind of things. And I actually got to meet them,
Mhm.
so it was cool. But I That's something that, like, during when my father and my brother passed away, that was something I could link to too, to like keep me happy and smiling. So
Yeah. Yeah. Those goals and then seeing that other people, maybe there's a goal they had and just maybe didn't think it was something they would ever do, and then saw you doing your thing and it inspired them. That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, last question is like, what do you want your audience to take away? Like, what is the message you want them to get from following you?
don't give up. Like, just keep going. Just wait a little bit longer. Um,
Mm,
because just there was a moment in my life where I literally just turned 30, and I was just like at a moment in my life where I'm just like, am I gonna like do anything with it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I was I was kind of just fed up, and I was like, I'm just done trying. I'm just gonna work my 9 to 5, day
Settle.
in, day out. Yeah, settle. Yeah. And I was sitting in my car, and it was raining, and I was parked in front of my apartment, and I was just sitting there, and I sat there for a while, and I just heard a voice in my head, and I think it was God, and this is the reason why I've gotten closer to him. Is just like, and it was just all I heard was just wait, hold on. That's it. Hold on. Just wait a little bit longer.
Mhm.
And to put in perspective, my viral video was 2 months after that.
Oh, wow. Before you
So
when you wanna give up, just wait. Just don't do it yet. Just wait a little longer because it might get better.
it might get better. And it brings me back to, I don't know if you ever seen the picture of, there's two guys mining, and one's walking away,
Mhm.
and he's literally about like one or two more strikes done, and he's hit diamonds, gold, and everything. The other guy, he's like 5 feet away from hitting diamonds and gold, but he's still going at it. And it just kind of brings back that picture as well. When I see that, it's like,
Yeah.
why stop? Why sure, yeah, I've been on this roller coaster of losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. I was at my highest ever. I was at 595, and we dropped down 32 pounds. Or 32 pounds down. And if I gain weight, okay, but I'm not going to stop trying to lose weight,
Mhm.
and so I think just having that mentality of just not giving up, because at some point we're gonna hit gold. We're gonna strike diamonds. It's
Yeah.
something good's going to happen.
I totally agree with you. Any goal worth pursuing, you're gonna have times when you wanna quit and when it feels like it's never gonna happen. That's just part of it. And I think just getting ahead of it and telling people like, "Hey, that might happen or might be happening to you right now where you feel that way, but that's just part of the journey. Doesn't mean it's a sign to stop."
Right, 100%. I I can't agree with you 100% what you just said. I don't even have to say anything else on it.
I get that. I understand that from you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming out here telling a story. It's like there's so many parts to it. Hard story, but then so many things that have come out of it that you have just been able to transcend. I think it's amazing.
I mean, that's you have to, because I mean, I can either be sour and and just not a very pleasing fruit, or I can be a sweet and pleasing fruit. It just matters what direction I want to go with. And I tell you what, sweet fruit gets picked a lot better than sour fruit.
I like that analogy. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So good talking to you.
Good talking to you too as well. Thank you so much for having me on.
So I think the main takeaway from Jonathan is this idea that we talked about at the end, which is that every journey worth taking, every goal that's worth pursuing, you're going to want to quit. You know, at some point, you're going to feel like it's not happening. It's never going to happen. It's so easy to get in your head about it. There are always going to be times where you want to quit. And the way that people reach those goals sometimes is literally just by not quitting. It's not like some secret magic sauce that they're using. I think when we go online, we see all of these people boasting about achieving these huge goals and that somehow they did them easily overnight, no big deal. Or even if they say like they were hustling, they were grinding, it kind of didn't really take that long for them to get there, you know? So online, you see a lot of these like overnight millionaires, for example, you know, where they're like, I had this idea, I brought the concept to reality, got some guys together, we did it, I hustled hard, now I'm a millionaire. And like, obviously, I'm going to teach you how to do it too, right? So that is like a huge portion of social media is people presenting these like really polished stories and they're not talking about actually that that's not usually true. It doesn't happen that fast. And that there are so many pitfalls or so many losses. They're not showing you how many times they lost in order to win. They're not showing you the struggle. I mean, people who really own a business or really try to meet a goal. I mean, there's so many nights that you're just up all night worried about it, thinking about it. So many times where you think, like, why did I even try this? Um, One thing I remember taking away when I did my PhD, I was in the orientation for all the new PhD students across different disciplines at the university. And it's just something that stuck with me. I didn't forget it then, and I'm glad that I didn't. And I'm glad that I even still use it today. They said, you're here, right? You got in. That's the main thing. The difference between you finishing and getting your PhD and not doing it is whether or not you quit. And that's it. Once you're in, just don't quit. And, you know, my first thought was like, why would I ever quit? Like, this is what I want to do. Why would I get here and do all this just to quit it? Um, but I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to quit, how many times I wanted to give up. It's not worth it. I don't think that I can do it. I don't think I have it in me. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough grit. There's so many moments that test you in something like that. And at those moments, I remembered that, you know, that saying, just don't quit. The difference between someone who gets in here and gets their doctorate and someone who doesn't is that one quits and one doesn't. Um, and I think Jonathan illustrated that so much. Like, think about the pain and the tragedy that he had to endure. And he got through it. Yeah, we get through by compartmentalizing, self soothing, whatever it is we have to do, honestly, at that moment. Um, and essentially, even those times, like that time he talked about in his car, thinking about what else is there, right? That's it for me. Nothing else to pursue. He had that voice in his head that said, just wait. All right. You want to quit. I think that's even better than saying don't quit is wait, create some space. Because the moments we want to quit are we're the most emotional, we're the most run down, we're the most exhausted. It's not the best time to make any kind of decision. So just wait before you make that decision. I think that's even a better saying than just don't quit. When you want to quit, just wait because you don't know what's going to happen. You might change your mind or something amazing might come along and you're going to keep going and you're going to get to that goal, maybe even further than you thought. So for me, that's just like the biggest, most amazing takeaway from what he had to say. Um, So, this portion, I want to answer some questions, audience submitted questions. And of course, when you submit questions, I cannot give personal advice. This is not in lieu of therapy. I can just give you some insight from the mental health perspective, things to think about in your own journey. So, of course, this is not a substitute for therapy, for medical advice, and it is not personal advice. Okay. So one question I got is there's so many things that I feel like I really want to do that I think would really benefit me. It could be like working out, it could be going back to school. I've got a whole list of things that I really want. And it feels like I'm able to do everything except for those things. I just keep putting them off, and I don't know why. I feel like I procrastinate on the things that would actually help my life the most. Okay. So that's a really common experience. Not only the procrastination, but procrastinating extra hard on the things that we want to do the most, which is ironic, or that might propel our lives forward the most. So, first, I want to say this is something actually a lot of people deal with. There are a number of ways to look at it, right? So, procrastination it comes from, feeling stuck, our nervous system kind of shutting down because of the expectations we're placing on ourselves. So, one thing is that the expectations might be too great. So, something like going back to school, that's like a huge open-ended goal. What does that even look like? Um, where are you going to go? Where are you going to start? What are the first steps? So, when we have a big goal that's like that, going back to school, it's really, really hard to start it because there's no entryway. It's just kind of a big, vague thing. And it can be really overwhelming. And that overwhelm can cause our nervous systems to start to shut down. And then procrastination has this kind of built-in reward system. So we procrastinate. We'll say, I'll figure it out later. I don't have to do that today. And we immediately feel a sense of relief because we've just taken that big weight off of us. And that sense of relief is actually reinforcing the procrastination. So procrastination is like a habit. It can be broken, it can be reinforced. So whenever we reinforce that procrastination, we're just much more likely to keep procrastinating the next time. Um, and that's just kind of an inherent like behavioral mechanism. And so when we look at something that's such a big goal, instead of allowing it to overwhelm us to the point where we're now getting into that procrastination cycle, it's best to just break it down into really small things. So the goal might not be go back to school. The goal might be research some programs that you might be interested in. It might be do a little research or ask one or two people about what they did to go back to school, right? Did they maybe have to get your transcripts? Maybe you have to get some recommendations. And even those things can be broken down one at a time. It might be I'm going to put on my calendar that I'm going to call my former school, high school, college, and figure out how to get my transcript. One thing, one and done. That's a lot easier to do. It's a lot less overwhelming. It doesn't call for perfection, and it's less likely to put somebody into that reinforced procrastination cycle. And then, probably the most complicated thing to analyze is putting off the things that you think would help the most. Um, a lot of times there's something unconscious under that, in that we want it so badly, but maybe we don't really feel ready, or we don't really feel good enough, or we don't actually feel worthy, or we don't know what our lives would look like if we did those things. So even if we don't like certain things about our life, we know it and we know how to deal with it. It is actually our comfort zone, even if it's uncomfortable. And so if we changed that, it would be a total unknown, and probably other things might change too. If you go back to school and change some major things about your life or your career, then your friendships might change, your relationship might change. You might be called to move or do something else, or do things that, even if they sound appealing, are just very unfamiliar to you. And so a lot of times there's this unconscious drive to not do the things that we so desperately want to do because we either are afraid of actually what our lives would look like afterwards, or because we don't think that we deserve it, right? So I had somebody that I worked with one time who had this big task that they were putting off. And it was like, once I do this task, then I can enjoy my life. Then I can do these things. I have to get this done, and then I can plan this really like big trip that I've wanted to take. And of course, I want to do that. Why would I hold myself back from doing that? And it's like, well, maybe on some level, taking that trip is really overwhelming. You'd have to actually do it, which is its own huge task. And as long as you have this thing standing in the way, you don't have to face those other fears. And that's not something that we walk around thinking on a conscious level. That's why it's unconscious. And so that is something else to kind of to analyze about, why do we put off certain things that we really, really, really want? It doesn't make sense, but it might make sense to our nervous system. It might make sense in our unconscious mind, because as painful as it is, it could be a protection from something else. So I hope that is helpful for you. And again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and go over to my Instagram, dr.vasilia, and check out my Substack. I'm going to write a Substack article about some of the things that we talked about today with Jonathan. I also have other questions that I answer there, and just kind of tips for good mental health that I post regularly. And I also have some therapeutic journals that you can find on my Instagram. So I look forward to seeing you next time.